Welcome back to NeuralWire News. Today, the United States is facing a combination of dangerous weather, growing pressure on power systems, travel disruption, flash flood risks, and new uncertainty in global energy markets. Across several parts of America, millions of people are dealing with extreme heat, powerful thunderstorms, heavy rainfall, and the threat of sudden flooding. At the same time, fresh tensions between the United States and Iran are raising concerns about oil supplies, shipping routes, and the possible impact on gasoline prices. In today's USA News Today Roundup, we are breaking down the major stories Americans are watching right now. Let's begin with the weather emergency. A major weather pattern is bringing dangerous conditions to different parts of the United States. Some areas are experiencing intense heat, while other regions are dealing with severe thunderstorms, strong winds, lightning, and heavy rain. This combination can be especially dangerous because it affects daily life in multiple ways. Heat creates health risks. Storms can damage power lines. Heavy rain can flood roads. And power outages during high temperatures can quickly become an emergency for families without air conditioning. Weather officials have issued alerts across multiple states as the risk of flash flooding and severe storms continues. In parts of the Northeast, Mid-Atlantic, Ohio Valley, Midwest, and Central Plains, forecasters are watching for thunderstorms capable of producing very heavy rainfall in a short period of time. The biggest concern is flash flooding. Flash floods happen when rain falls faster than the ground, streets, drains, and rivers can absorb it. In cities, water can quickly collect on roads, under bridges, in parking areas, and near subway entrances. In rural areas, creeks and small rivers can rise rapidly. The danger is that flooding can appear suddenly, even if the weather looked normal only a short time earlier. Officials are warning people not to drive through flooded roads. It may look like a shallow puddle, but moving water can be much stronger than it appears. A vehicle can lose control or be swept away, especially in low-lying areas. At night, the danger becomes even greater because drivers may not be able to see how deep the water is. If a road is flooded, the safest choice is to turn around and find another route. The storm threat is not limited to rain. Some areas could also see strong wind gusts, frequent lightning, hail, and falling trees. Strong winds can bring down power lines and cause sudden blackouts. For people living in areas with severe weather alerts, it is important to keep phones charged, have flashlights ready, and make sure emergency notifications are turned on. Now let's talk about the heat. Extreme heat remains one of the most dangerous weather threats in the United States. Many people think of storms as the biggest weather emergency, but heat can be even more deadly because it affects large areas for days at a time. High temperatures can cause dehydration, heat exhaustion, and heat stroke. The greatest risk is for older adults, children, outdoor workers, people with medical conditions, and anyone without reliable access to air conditioning. During extreme heat, health officials advise people to drink water regularly, avoid long periods outdoors during the hottest part of the day, and take breaks in cool places. Outdoor workers should take frequent breaks in the shade and watch for signs of heat illness. Symptoms can include dizziness, weakness, headaches, nausea, confusion, and heavy sweating. Heat stroke is a medical emergency. If someone becomes confused, faints, has a very high body temperature, or stops sweating, emergency help may be needed immediately. Another important message during heat waves is to check on other people. A quick call or visit to an elderly neighbor, family member, or friend can make a major difference. Extreme heat can be especially dangerous for people living alone. But the heat story is also about electricity. When temperatures rise, millions of homes, offices, stores, and factories use more air conditioning. That creates huge demand on the power grid. Electricity providers have to make sure enough power is available to keep homes cool and essential services running. Hospitals, emergency services, water systems, and communication networks all depend on reliable electricity. If a severe storm hits during a heat wave and damages power lines, the result can be a serious double threat. People may lose the ability to cool their homes at the exact time when temperatures are most dangerous. Power outages can also affect traffic lights, grocery stores, gas stations, and phone charging. That is why emergency officials recommend keeping backup batteries, bottled water, flashlights, and basic supplies at home during major weather events. The weather is also affecting travel. Heavy rain and thunderstorms could delay flights, close roads, and slow down train services. Airports may face delays when lightning is nearby or when storms move across major flight routes. For drivers, heavy rain reduces visibility and makes roads slippery. Hydroplaning can happen when tires lose contact with the road because of standing water. During storms, drivers should slow down, increase distance from other vehicles, and avoid using cruise control on wet roads. For travelers, checking flight status before leaving for the airport is important, especially during periods of widespread thunderstorms. Now, the economic impact. Weather emergencies can create major financial pressure for families and businesses. Flooded homes, damaged cars, fallen trees, and power outages can lead to expensive repairs. Businesses may have to close temporarily if roads are blocked or electricity is unavailable. Farmers can also be affected by extreme heat, drought, heavy rain, and flooding. Too much rain can damage crops and delay planting or harvesting. Extreme heat can stress livestock and reduce agricultural production. When weather disrupts transportation and agriculture, it can eventually affect prices in stores. And that brings us to the energy story. Fresh tensions between the United States and Iran are once again creating uncertainty in global oil markets. Reports of new U.S. military action and concerns about possible retaliation have made traders watch the Middle East very closely. One of the most important places in this story is the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz is a narrow waterway between Iran and the Arabian Peninsula. It is one of the world's most important shipping routes for oil and energy supplies. A significant share of global oil exports normally passes through this route. If ships are delayed, threatened, attacked, or forced to change course, oil markets can react immediately. Oil prices often rise when there is fear that supplies could be interrupted. That matters to people in the United States because higher oil prices can affect gasoline, diesel, shipping, airline fuel, and transportation costs. If fuel becomes more expensive, businesses may pay more to move goods across the country. Those higher costs can eventually affect prices for food, household products, and other everyday items. However, it is important to understand that oil prices and gas prices do not always move in exactly the same way or the same speed. Local gasoline prices depend on many factors, including refinery production, regional supply, taxes, transportation, and demand. Still, any major escalation in the Middle East can create pressure on energy markets. For American drivers, the key question is whether the situation will remain limited or become a wider conflict. If tensions calm down, oil markets may stabilize. But if shipping through the Strait of Hormuz becomes seriously disrupted, the impact could be felt around the world. The United States is also watching the situation because global energy markets affect inflation and consumer confidence. When fuel and transportation costs rise, households often feel the impact quickly. That is why developments overseas can become an important story for families in America. So what happens next? On the weather side, forecasters will continue monitoring storm tracks, rainfall totals, and heat alerts. People in affected areas should follow local emergency guidance and stay updated through weather alerts. If flash flooding is possible, avoid low-lying roads and do not wait until water is already covering the street. If severe thunderstorms are expected, secure outdoor items, charge your phone, and keep a flashlight nearby. During extreme heat, drink water before you feel thirsty, limit outdoor activity during peak afternoon temperatures, and check on people who may need help. On the energy side, markets will be watching every major update involving the United States, Iran, and shipping activity near the Strait of Hormuz. Any sign of escalation could affect oil prices. Any sign of diplomacy or reduced tension could calm markets. For now, Americans are dealing with a difficult mix of weather danger, power grid pressure, travel disruption, and economic uncertainty. The biggest headlines today are clear. Millions of people are facing severe weather risks, including flash flooding, damaging storms, and dangerous heat. Power systems are under pressure as air conditioning demand rises. Travel may be disrupted by thunderstorms and heavy rain. And U.S. Iran tensions are creating fresh concerns about oil supplies and the future of fuel prices. We will keep following these developments and bring you the latest updates. This is NeuralWire News. Subscribe for daily USA news, weather alerts, global updates, and the stories that matter. Thanks for watching.